Hello, everybody. I want to take a moment before we begin to explain what you are about to hear. This started out as a private past life reading for a member of our community. This person's identity has been completely removed. I would never share something without permission from the person it belonged to. And forgive Teeny's chewing on something in the background, so you may hear that. But the moment I started to tap into this energy, and even when I finished, I knew that this was different. This shook me. It felt very ancient. It felt like something I had never accessed before, and it felt like a message that needed to be heard by the collective. What came through was not from Earth. It was not from any human era, not from any timeline that we usually speak about when we talk about past lives. This was by far the oldest, most ancient, quote unquote, past life that I had picked up on. I think the oldest prior to this that I had ever picked up on was like between 2000 and 2500 BCE. Um, this was much older. Okay. It was like the beginning. This came through with such clarity, and I could envision this in my mind's eye. For some aspects, I didn't have language for. It was a very strong emotional force that I felt, and it literally was changing me as I was channeling it and delivering it. So I'm sharing this because I feel some of you will recognize pieces of yourself in it. Some of you will feel a remembering and possibly an activation. And I believe that this is a message that the collective is ready to hear. I feel like this is really important. So stay tuned until after the reading, because afterward, I'm going to share some extremely important information that I discovered through the hours of research that I did after this reading. Everything in this reading aligned with a very specific ancient civilization, its history, its collapse, and how it connects to Lemuria, Atlantis, and our current collective awakening. And the information at the end is going to help you understand exactly what this was and why it matters. We're going to go ahead and begin.
This is probably the oldest energy I've ever picked up. Wow. Okay. So this is going to be an intense one. Okay. So there's something here about I don't know why I'm picking that up. There's something here about the reason escape is what I'm hearing. This persecution and inquisition. Earth was an escape. You were a soul that was here originally. One of the original beings on the planet here, so starseed, if you will. Okay, so show me the scientist. Wow, nice. You were very knowledgeable with something here. Maybe technology. Okay, bear with me. There's something about this vow energy. I've got chills. There's something about this is like to infinity and beyond kind of energy. I don't know how to explain that. I don't really have a language for it, which is interesting. Um, or a word for what I'm picking up here, but there is something about like determination, and it was a collective effort. Something was a collective effort. It was determination. This feels like ancient civilization finding a new place to live. That's what it feels like. I know that probably sounds crazy, but okay, so let's look at, and if I'm not mistaken, okay, I dig into this kind of stuff a little bit, but not a little bit, but a lot actually. Or in my past it was a lot. Like the original civilization being in Antarctica. Wouldn't that be interesting if Antarctica was Atlantis? Hmm. Hmm. Okay, let's look at who you are. Justice. Ooh, the devil. Yeah, I'm telling you, they're showing me like an infestation of like other planets and stuff. This I've never had one come through like this. Like interplanetary. Never. Not yet anyway. You're my first, so that's pretty incredible. There's like this infestation of like the solar system or something like that. I know this is going to sound crazy, but just go with it. All right, go with it because I've never let's just see what comes through. Maybe you could be a star seed. Okay, you could feel in this lifetime like I don't belong here. I don't belong here. You could feel that way. And look at that, the five of swords. I'm telling you, you are somebody who dealt with like an infestation of dark energies. I'm getting so much stuff. I'm hearing Draco. I've never had a reading like this, past life reading like this. Draco. Call me crazy if you want. Okay, show me your gender. This could be interesting, this gender thing here. Show me gender. Show me gender. Pentacles. Two of Wands. You were like, yeah, this scientist energy. I feel like you might have been somebody that was like, okay, to infinity and beyond. I keep hearing that. To infinity and beyond. Like there's something here about finding a new planetary home, like a new planet to live on. And I know this sounds crazy. A new planet to live on. This is high technology is what I'm picking up. This was for a community, a collective of people. This was for like the race. Incredible. Okay. Keep getting chills. Okay. The Page of Pentacles here. So I'm getting male. Yeah, the sun's Leo, that's male, masculine energy. Okay. There is something about exploration. I feel like that's the scientist. Like you weren't sure that something was going to work. You could have even explored to like find a place. You could have been the one that found Earth. I know this sounds like far-fetched, okay? I've had some really interesting readings, but this is by far the most interesting. I've never had any that are like this, like off the earth. Okay? Very interesting. So you were male. I feel like you were like you were tasked with, I don't feel like you were a leader in some way, but I feel like you were like tasked with going out and finding. Okay, now you may have been with other people, and other people or whatever you want, beings, okay, could have gone out looking as well. But I feel like you may have, if you were solo, you would have come back with, I think this might work. Okay. And I'm telling you, this is so, I mean, this is thousands. I don't know how old. Old, old, ancient. it may have taken some time. Yeah, there was an issue. I'm getting there was an issue. It was like a plague of the solar system or something. It was like, or whatever, I don't know what you'd call that. It was like a plague, like not like a sickness plague, like an evil plague, if you will. It was I keep hearing Draco. Whatever. Okay, I don't know. Again, I don't get to pick what past life comes through. I want to look at your childhood. I don't It's kind of weird to do this reading in this fashion because okay, let's just keep going with it. Show me like as far as this kind of thing coming up, show me childhood. I'll do the very best I can here. Because I feel like you were already on Earth, you were already like your childhood came and went. On Earth, you were different. You were I don't know how to explain that. You were older. The moon. Wow, they're showing me like planets and stuff. This is incredible. I'm telling you, Neptunian energy here. Look at this. Very Neptunian, very fantasy like. Like there could have been something about yeah, life was very different here. I feel like it was peaceful. Life was a certain way. They're showing me like you were looking at other planets, like very close, like in the sky, like we see the sun and the moon, like you were looking at planets, other planets or other moons, multiple moons, something like that. Wow. Things might have been very different. I feel like they were very different. Even lifestyle was very different. Obviously, there's something here about the way you rested that's very unique. Like how the beings or the people, the souls here, spirit saying it's okay to say souls. Okay, so wow, interesting. So souls is accurate is basically what they're telling me. Okay. Um, I'm hearing scourge of the earth. I'm hearing it's here now. What the hell is going on? Queen of Cups. There's a lot of love and compassion. It's an energy of love, like pure love, communal love for one another here, very high consciousness. Mm, okay. I'm just it's very it's I don't mean to be so quiet, but it's very like I don't have words for it. I see a very loving community. I see lifestyle being extremely different, very different than it is here on Earth. Okay, very different. I'm hearing than what it's become. I'm seeing they are showing me like you were able to see like multiple bodies. Okay, so like moons is what it's looking like, maybe even planets that were very close, like they were very close. I'm hearing interplanetary system. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's look at, sorry, I'm just a little taken back by it. Let's look at the family dynamic here. You may have like made things happen. You found what was going to work, and this is why it was going to work. And there could have been something specific about needing water. Uh, okay, Page of Swords. Yeah, you were like the smarty pants as well. You were smarty pants, but I feel like that was in general. I feel like that was I'm hearing high functioning society. Like that was in general. Like everybody was kind of like this. Yeah, 6 of Wands. You played a completely different role, King of Pentacles. I do get that there was like okay. There's a teacher. I don't feel like they're called parents. I feel like they're called teachers. I'm hearing master, but it's like a loving, that's a loving term, master. It feels like, wow, it's about it. The term is not like mother, father. Okay. The term is like master because of experience, not because of rulership or status. Wow. This makes me want to cry, like the love that I can feel. Um, I'm getting like high technology, like I don't know how to explain that. Advanced, very advanced. There could also be something about alchemy that's involved here. Okay, so it's almost like the people that you may have been born under, they were teachers. They weren't looked at as like mother father type of energy, even though they were mother and father. How we would relay it as human beings. This was known as a masters, and I'm seeing teacher. It's I don't know how to explain that. Okay, but whoever this teacher master was to you in your family, okay. I keep hearing a lot is riding on you. So it seems like you might have been being trained for something, maybe this in particular. This society, this collective was very aware of the future generation, future of humanity. I'm hearing humanity, but I don't know. It, the future, yeah, okay. That's what I'm going with. The future of we'll say the species here, okay? It was very ingrained. There was a lot of teaching, preparing. There was purpose. There was purpose. Show me relationships. I'm scared to ask. Show me relationships, please. 4 of Cups. 10 of Pentacles reversed. Okay. Whoop. A card went flying here. Why are you over here, sir? There's the world. Interesting. Okay, this is going to be interesting too. I don't have the language for this. I'll do my very best to relay it in like how we view it here on Earth. There's something about there is no future if this doesn't happen. Telling you, there's something about like preparation to escape something. I keep getting that escape, like an escape from one planet to another. I'm hearing solar system specifically to one from one system to another. Feels like damn Star Wars. Um, but better. um, wow. Okay. I'm seeing an emphasis on like, let's put it this way. I feel like you wanted connection and family. You wanted to be a teacher and a master too. You wanted to be a part of assisting the next generation, the future. That's how this is coming across. Okay. I know this is really sci-fi-ish in a way, but um I'm hearing interstellar. Okay. I feel like they're giving me the right words here. Um So if in other words, if you didn't accomplish something, I feel like there was a lot riding on you. Didn't I say that? Your master teacher saying that to you? There was a lot riding on you. There's a lot riding on this. There's something about not having I don't feel like that was the focus. I don't feel like relationships were the focus. I feel like the future of this species was the focus. And from your perspective, you're like, the future is not even going to there is no future for me if there is no future for the species kind of thing. So what I'm getting is that this was like this was the vow. This was the vow. That's the vow. They just pulled me to that. The determination that I'm picking up. Teeny's right here by the camera, and if she bumps it, it may go out, and if that's the case, then I'll pause it and come right back and fix it. I have to go out of the program to okay, go lay down, Boo. Don't come this way. No, don't do it. Oh, she's doing it. Oh. Whew. It's a very sensitive camera. Okay, so yeah, there's something about like this being I'm getting like a vow, and I'm getting that with the high priestess here. Like your relationship was to this. Show me social status. I'm hearing everyone had a role. Okay, 7 of Swords, the Lovers. You would have been I'm hearing misfit. Interesting. You would have been there's something about like secrecy. The Magician, the Knight of Cups. Yeah, there's something about like it wasn't important for everybody else to know. There's something about like the excuse me, the cast that you were in, or like the role that you played. And I feel like you were in this role with other people, but it wasn't really something that you talked about. Your role, I don't want to say secret. It wasn't really secret. It was top priority is what I'm hearing. Just wasn't really discussed. It wasn't talked about except for certain people, the people that needed to know, the people that like in other words, it was out of like love and compassion. We don't want to upset. It's we don't need to talk about it unless we know for sure. And for whatever reason, like, at some point, you knew for sure. I feel like you were the one. I feel like I know this sounds far-fetched, okay? But just I feel like you may have been the one that came back with, "I think I found a place." I do get, like, interstellar kind of. It was very quick, though, is what I'm getting, like, quick-ish. It took time, but there was, like, in other words, you weren't, like, floating around in space or whatever, or it feels like, teleporting is what it feels like to me. It could have been very, difficult on, like, the body, or on yeah, like, on your body, and so it wasn't done often. It was more done through, like, calculation, mathematics is how it's coming through, and so if there was, like, a, this is a shit, this is crazy. If it was, like, mathematically possible, the percent I'm getting, like, the percentages and everything were, like, right, everything was right or close to it, then you would decide to go to this place. It wasn't like you did it all the time whenever you wanted. It wasn't like that. It was like there was something about they're showing me, like, a map of, like, planetary systems, like, where people had kinda been before or where news had come back from before, or maybe this had been tried before or something like that, and I feel like this is something that was going on for a long time, like, finding the right place was going on for a long time, and I'm telling you, it's because of whatever this and I'm hearing specifically Draco. I mean, I don't know. Draco, draconian. I know that that's, doesn't that come if I'm not mistaken, isn't that, isn't that in the belt of Orion? Like, that's where that comes from, that area? So it feels like, this community or this group, this species was very paid close attention to the like, the planetary bodies and things like that, like the solar system, like the, astronomy, basically, astrology, whatever you wanna call it. Astronomy. That's what it feel I'm sure there was a different word, but it's like astronomy, okay? That's how it's coming through. Alright, so let's look at, so there was, like, a role you played, and I feel like it was a very important role. Um, so you had in other words, this Gemini energy of the lovers tells me that there's something about the secrecy keeping balance. There's something about not really talking about this that's keeping balance. Like, this was your job, but it was like top secret is basically how it's coming through. Like, everybody didn't need to know it because they didn't need to worry about it. Because it would disrupt the peace. It would disrupt the homeostasis of the community. Is That's how it's coming through. Talk about high consciousness here. Okay, so let's look at your death, I guess, is what we wanna look at. 9 of Pentacles, okay. 6 of Pentacles, 2 of Cups. I feel like you were there's the 8 of Pentacles, man, your work was like your whatever this role was that you played was the most important thing. 8 of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles. Um, okay. This feels like you kinda gave your life for something here. It feels very, like, hero-ish, to be honest. Like, I'm just gonna give you an example of what I feel like this could be. You go to a planet, let's say you come to Earth to see if it is, you know, gonna work for the species, and then I don't know, something it's like maybe you end up dying. What it feels more like is that everybody else went and you stayed behind. Everybody else went, but you stayed behind. I don't know how to explain this to you. Let's look at lessons learned. This is very intense. Lessons learned. I feel this is a very high vibrational, high, very aware, very conscious. You knew who you were. You know exactly who you were. I don't feel like there weren't wounds like there weren't wounds in karma and stuff like there is on Earth. 8 of Cups, 3 of Swords. Earth was the karma. Earth created the karma. The karma came in with Earth is how it's feeling to me. Wow. There's a longing for home. Your identity is not there's a longing for home, or there's a longing. I feel like home though is the species, is the community here. I don't know what else to call it. Species, the collective. It's like I don't know how to explain that. That is so I have to say this reading has changed me. Shaken me. My level of awareness around things is changing because of this reading. It's like if the lesson that was learned, like if one person's hurting, everyone is hurting. If one person is threatened, everyone is threatened. It's very collective energy is the best way I can put that. And there's something about homesickness, but knowing who you are and knowing the importance of your role. Show me how this helps in this lifetime. How does knowing this lifetime help in the current lifetime? Queen of Swords. 3 of Pentacles. I'm telling you, it's a collective effort. It's something, I feel like there's something about collective effort, community, the start, healing the collective here, healing community. You carry a lot of ancient wisdom and knowledge here. Ancient wisdom and knowledge. You may feel like, I'm telling you, Ace of Swords, it's important to share the information and knowledge. It's important to be the master, the teacher here. To heal a collective. To bring clarity and truth to a collective, to humanity. Wow. Whew. I'm going to leave this here.
Okay, now that you guys have heard the reading, I want to share what I discovered afterward. I've done my best to try and create what I was seeing in my mind's eye through runways. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I did the best I could. Runways AI image generator. I just put in what I was seeing, and this fairly close to what I was envisioning here in my third eye. So I spent hours researching what I saw because I myself needed to understand it clearly. It moved me in a way that I was craving the information. And I didn't want to speak on something I felt was this profound without being grounded and accurate. And everything in the reading aligned with an ancient and powerful civilization known as Lyra. Lyra is considered the original human template, which makes sense why in the reading I got it's okay to call them souls. it existed long before Earth was ready for life. The beings in Lyra lived in unity. I'll share some of the images that I came up with. Okay. Very close to what I was picking up, a little more iridescent skin, but this was very similar. Um, they lived in unity, emotion, a high level of emotional intelligence, shared consciousness, and deep peace. It's really interesting because they raised children through mentorship. Masters guided the young. They lived through collective purpose and wisdom. The specific group in the reading matched what ancient sources call the Lyran vanguard. And so the person in the reading that I was reading for would have been a Lyran vanguard. These were pathfinders. Okay, I think I came up with an interesting image for this. Something similar to this, okay? They were souls who used advanced mathematics and frequency mapping to locate potential worlds before ever traveling to them. Again, this is something that I picked up. They studied the energetic resonance of planets to see if they could sustain life. And only a few souls, which is what this person was, were chosen to physically travel or teleport specifically to these worlds to confirm them. The soul in this reading was one of those vanguards, okay, like I mentioned. There was also, let me just share some of the images here. Other images that very, very similar likeness, okay? Unfortunately, AI was only generating women, so, but it was very similar to this. Most here had the very white hair, really. Okay. There was a darker moment in the collapse here that I was picking up. In the reading, you heard me describe an energetic invasion. It was like a plague is how it came through, kind of like a virus or something. That's how it felt. The energy matched what is known as Draco, and I did pick this up in the reading. According to ancient accounts, the Draco targeted peaceful, high-frequency civilizations. Their evasion caused what is often described as the fall of Lyra. This event scattered Lyran souls across the galaxy. Some of those souls eventually made their way to Earth. This is where Lumeria enters the picture. Lumeria was the first advanced civilization on Earth, created by Lyran descendants after the fall. It was gentle, intuitive, heart-centered, emotionally advanced. It carried the memory of what Lyra once was. Atlantis came after Lemuria. Atlantis was influenced by a mix of Lyran and Lemurian lineages, along with Sirius, Pleiades, Orion, and Andromedan energy. Most of you know this already, but it became advanced in technology, geometric knowledge, and energetic work. But Atlantis eventually fell because the mind overtook the heart, creating imbalance and instability. So it was a repeated karmic pattern that began in Lyra. So this gives us the full timeline here. You had Lyra, and then you had the fall of Lyra, and then you had Lyran's soul migration. Then there was Lumeria, and then there was Atlantis, and then Earth as we know it today. So this is why this reading matters. It was not simply a personal memory. This was a piece of our collective origin. And it was a reminder of who we were before fear and fragmentation, before forgetting. It reflects where we are headed now. We are rising back into unity, back into emotional intelligence, back into a shared consciousness. back into a level of growth and awareness that we have known before. So if this stirred something inside of you, there is a reason. If you recognized yourself in any part of this story, it is because your soul remembers. You're waking up to it. So I want to thank you for listening with an open heart. I hope this opens something inside of you. Again, I just felt like it was extremely important to share this. It wasn't meant to kind of, in other words, it's here to help us remember. And I felt like that was the purpose of me sharing. And I'll tell you, there's some hesitancy on this side. Okay, but I did want to get this out to you, and so I hope you enjoyed it. I'm curious to hear your feedback. I'm sending you guys a lot of love, and I'll see you in the next one.